you. And every day I'm trying to share content on personal development and about psychology based on science on different topics. And today we will be discussing about uh, depression and acceptance commitment therapy and how you can use acceptance commitment therapy to support yourself if you're experiencing symptoms of depression. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you can get familiar with any new content when I will be here. Today we are going to explore a very important and common question: is acceptance commitment therapy really effective for depression? And this is a question I receive frequently from you and from my clients, and today we will answer it together based on scientific research, clinical experience, and practical tools. And it's not just academic lecture. If you are struggling with depression or you know somebody who is, this webinar will also give you practical tools and strategies that you can start using right away. And today we will cover what depression really is, psychological and neurological uh, basis of it, reasons of it, and how ACT approaches depression and how it differs from different other traditional therapies, and how you can apply 6 core ACT processes to work with depression. And if you're ready, let's begin. So what is depression, and is it just sadness? Let's correct a very common misconception. Depression is not just sadness. According to DSM-5, the Diagnostic Manual of American Psychiatric Depression, a psychiatric association, major depressive disorder includes depressed mood lasting for more than 2 weeks, loss of interest or pleasure, also called as referred as anhedonia. It can include changes in appetite or weight, and sleep disturbances, fatigue and low energy, feelings of worthlessness or excessive guilt. A person might have difficulties concentrating, and in severe cases it might include thoughts of death and suicide. So at least 5 of these symptoms must persist for 2 weeks or more in order for a person to be diagnosed with depressive disorder. And it can significantly impair a person's functioning. And depression is not laziness, it's not a character flaw, it's not a lack of willpower, it's a real psychological condition. And the good news is that it's treatable, it can be treated. And what are psychological mechanisms of depression? To understand why ACT works, we need to understand how depression operates, functions. And there are 3 core main challenges for a person who is experiencing depression symptoms. First of them is shown in the way of behavioral withdrawal. As energy decreases, activities that person used to do also decreases, and pleasure and meaning also decreases, and depression might be deepening. So in a way, if a person is withdrawing, this might cause to more depression. If you are experiencing these challenges, when your energy drops, it makes perfect sense that you start to do less. And when you do less, life starts to feel smaller, quieter, less meaningful. And that's not a personal failure, that's a pattern your mind and your body have learned. And here's something important I wanted to gently consider. What if the problem isn't that you don't have enough motivation or energy, but what if the problem is that you've been waiting for motivation before taking action? And oftentimes you would notice that once you start doing certain tasks, or even if you don't want, for instance, to socialize or to do anything, when you start doing certain thing, you feel better and motivation comes. And in acceptance commitment therapy, we don't ask you to feel better. First, we are asking what matters for you, even a little right now, even with this sense of tiredness, exhaustion, lack of energy, and not in same distant perfect future, but here in the moment with the energy you have now. So if you are experiencing feelings of tiredness, fatigue, low energy, try asking yourself what matters for me even in this condition. When I feel tired, what's the smallest step I can take, what I want to be different, what I want to make sense from this time, even during times when I feel tired or exhausted or have low energy. Maybe it can be caring for somebody or taking care of your body, eating more healthy food or moving more, being physically active. It can be creating something small or simply showing up for your day. So any small steps that you are taking even during times when you are feeling tired or low energy is actually uh, creates a lasting change. And even if it seems that your progress is very slow, actually you are slowly evolving and changing. Now here's the key: we don't turn into a big goal and we make it small, we make it tiny. So small your mind even say that this is pointless, but because we have tried to impress, because we are not trying to impress your mind or to fight with your mind, we are trying to gently reopen your life, reopen the doors to what you were avoiding. And instead of saying, I need to go to gym, maybe you can try just prepare your clothes today, put on your shoes. And before your mind says, what's the point? You notice the thought and you carry your shoes anyway. That's how acceptance commitment therapy provides us with strategies to take action and not waiting for everything to be perfect. And you are learning something powerful here. You are not your energy level, you are not your motivation. You are the one who can choose the direction, even in the presence of challenges, in the presence of difficulties. And each small action is brings you closer towards the change you are trying to achieve. And one brick won't feel like much, but over time you are rebuilding your life again. Your mind might say that this won't work, it's too small, you are too far gone. And that's okay. You don't have to argue with these thoughts. You don't have to try to suppress your thoughts. But noticing them and taking the small step anyway is what creates change. And it's engagement, and you will allow to begin exactly as you are. And the second challenge that people are experiencing is rumination. And your mind loops on the past. Maybe you are thinking why this has happened. Maybe you are blaming yourself, you are being critical with yourself, you are replaying conversations or experiences you had, and you are trying to understand what did go wrong. And maybe you are thinking, I will be always like this, I will be a failure, I can't do anything. And I can hear how loud your mind can become, but uh, that looping, why did this happen? Why did I do wrong? I will always be like this. It can feel like your mind is trying to solve something very important. And in a way, it is. But your mind is a problem solving machine, and anytime when you are experiencing any stress or challenge, it will try to find solutions. That's what it was built to do. But here is the difficulty: not every problem in life is solvable in the way the mind wants. And when the mind cannot solve it, you will feel stuck and you will be replaying the same conversations, the same thoughts over and over. So instead of asking, how do I stop these thoughts? You can try something different. You can try asking yourself, what's the thinking doing for your life right now? Is it being useful for you? Is it really helping you to solve the problems? And is it helping you move forward the life that you want, or you are staying stuck in that loop? And in ACT, we call this workability, because a thought can be true and still not be helpful. So here's something we can try differently. Next time your mind starts looping, don't try to fight it or suppress it, just notice it and say slowly, I'm having the thought that I ruined everything, and I ruined everything, but do you feel the difference? That small shift creates space for you to calm down and to respond differently. And you are no longer inside the thought, you are not longer repeating the same thoughts over and over. You are just observing it and becoming aware that you are holding space for these feelings and thoughts. And then, if you are willing, you can also add, here is my mind trying to solve the past again. And you can also choose how you would like to respond to this overthinking or negative thinking, and what's the smallest step you can take right now in order to make your life and your day more meaningful. So you can carry these thoughts with you lightly while you take a step towards something that matters for you. even a very small step, because rumination makes a promise. If you think long enough, you will find peace. But what often happens is that is the contradictory. The more you think, the more you feel stuck. So instead, we are trying this. Let the mind talk and gently bring your attention back to this moment. And you can ask, what can you see right now? What can you hear? What can you touch? Not to escape the thought, but to reconnect with your life, and you can still choose what's important for you instead of spending hours in your head. So you can thank your mind for trying to help and take a small step forward anyway, because you are not your thoughts. You are not this. You are holding space in which those thoughts come and go. And even in the middle of the noise, you still have the ability to choose your next step. So what this acceptance commitment therapy is doing, if you have noticed that, when a person is experiencing symptoms of depression, instead of staying stuck in that loop, acceptance commitment therapy helps you to take steps towards meaning, towards what is important in your life, even in the middle of chaos or challenges. And that becomes a step towards your healing, because when you stay stuck in that loop, when you are in your head, or when you are isolating yourself, and when you are avoiding, depression is worsening. But when you are taking steps despite this discomfort, you are slowly healing. And the next challenge that people have who have depression symptoms is experiential avoidance. It can be in the form of avoiding painful thoughts and emotions. It helps in short term, but it worsens things in long term. And ACT directly targets these three cycles. Of course, you want to avoid this, of course, you do. And when something hurts, your mind and body naturally tries to move away from it. And it's not a weakness, it's being a human. And avoiding painful thoughts, emotions, memories is often works in the short time, but it distracts. You distract yourself, you shut it down, you stay busy, maybe you numb out, and for a moment there is a relief. What has the strategy cost for you? Is it being useful for you? Not as a judgment, not as curiosity. Has it made your life bigger or smaller? Because here is the paradox we have discovered in acceptance commitment therapy, that the more you try not to feel something, the more space it tends to take up. And it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but it takes your energy, it takes a constant pressure, and eventually it pops back up. So instead of asking you to get rid of these feelings, to suppress these feelings, you can offer a different possibility. What if you could make room for them without being overwhelmed by them? Think of a feeling you are avoiding, for instance. Don't dive into it, just gently notice it. And where do you feel it in your body? Is it tight, heavy, warm, sharp? So instead of pushing it away, see if you can make a little space around it, and almost like you are saying, there is a room for this too. And you are not inviting the pain to take over, you are just dropping the struggle with it. Because here is something very important. Pain is part of being human. Pain shows that we are human beings, but the struggle with pain, that's what often turns into suffering, and it's wasting your time, it's wasting your energy. And instead of fighting with your thoughts or trying to suppress them, you can simply accept them and turn to what's important for you. So your mind might be saying, if I let this in, it will consume me, or you think that feelings are so strong that you cannot bear it. But you don't have to argue with it. Just notice, I'm having the thought that this will consume me, and then gently return to your breath, your body, this moment. And from here, you can try to ask yourself different questions. If I didn't have to get rid of this feeling first, what small step could I take toward what matters for me? Because avoidance doesn't just reduce pain, it often reduces your life, it shrinks your life, your behavior. It closes doors, it shrinks possibilities. And what we are doing here in therapies is that we are reopening those doors again, and not by suppressing or trying to delete the pain or thoughts, because it's not possible, but by carrying it differently, learning to build new relationship with your thoughts and feelings. And you are bigger than what you feel, not because the pain is small, but because you are the one who can hold it and still choose how to live. And according to World Health Organization, over 280 million people worldwide live with depression. And it's one of the leading causes of disability globally. And in Turkey, for instance, studies suggest that prevalence rates around 20%. And it's a critical point. More than half of people with depression never receive professional help. And it's because of stigma, lack of awareness, limited access. And that's why education matters. That's why it's important to understand that this is not a character flaw, it's not a laziness, it's not something related with person's character, but it's a real condition. And the good news is that if you will receive uh, needed help like support, you can recover, you will definitely recover. And the right tools can save lives. So how ACT approaches depression? The most used therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, focuses on finding, identifying, challenging, and replacing negative thoughts. For instance, if you have a thought that you are worthless, or that you can try to ask yourself, is that really true? And ACT takes a different approach. You don't need to change the thought or try to replace the thought. You are just trying to change relationship with the thought and asking yourself, is this thought being helpful for me to achieve the goals that I want to achieve? And instead of thinking, is this true, we are asking, is it helpful? So instead of using your time by replacing the thoughts or trying to change your thinking, because most of thoughts are automatic, and sometimes it can be very difficult to try or to change the thinking. So instead of it, we directly go into asking, is this thought is helping me to achieve what I want to achieve? The thought can be true, or it cannot. Maybe it's not close to reality, and in that manner, then we choose actions that would better serve our goals and what we want to achieve. And ACT's perspective on suffering, it says that pain is inevitable, that we will not have just positive thoughts or positive feelings, and suffering is a part of being human. And suffering is also shaped by how we relate to pain. Depression often includes pain and a struggle to eliminate that pain, suppress that pain. This is called the control agenda, and research shows that the more we try to control emotions, the stronger they often become. And ACT offers a different path, making space for your experience and moving towards what matters. And there are 6 ACT processes for depression. First of them is acceptance, which we have already discussed, opening space for difficult emotions instead of fighting them or trying to suppress them. The second one is cognitive diffusion, seeing thoughts as thoughts, not literal truths. And third one is present moment awareness. Anytime when you notice that your mind is wandering either in the past or in the future, gently inviting you towards the present moment. The next one is self as context. You are not your depression, you are the observer, you are the space, you are awareness that notices these thoughts and feelings, and you are the one who was observing your thoughts and feelings and experiences when you were a child, when you were a teenager, and right now, and who will continue to notice these feelings and experiences in the future. And the next element is values, reconnecting what truly matters for you and understanding what do you want to become. And the next one, committed action, includes taking small steps towards what matters for you, even without motivation in the case of depression. And what does science say about ACT? According to meta-analysis, including 65 randomized controlled trials, they found that ACT significantly reduces depressive symptoms, and effect size was moderate to large. Effects are maintained long-term. Michael Toig and Stephen Hayes' review of 2017 also found that ACT and CBT show similar effectiveness overall, and ACT performs better in chronic depression or in cases of treatment resistance cases. And according to neuroscience, brain imaging studies show that decreased activity in amygdala, which is responsible for stress response, and increased prefrontal cortex activity, which is responsible for emotional regulation, and reduce default mode network activity, which would decrease rumination. So ACT doesn't just change thoughts, it changes the brain and even brain chemistry. And chronic and especially in cases of chronic or recurrent depression, recurrent depression, or depression comorbid with anxiety, as a complement to medication, it has even higher effectiveness. So it can be also as a complement to medication, and when meaning and purpose are lost, and in perfectionism and self-criticism. So according to research, these are cases that ACT has the highest efficiency. And however, when ACT alone may not be enough, is in cases if a person has psychotic symptoms or severe depression with suicidal ideation or bipolar disorder. In these cases, professional psychiatric support is important. So here are some exercises that you can start to use if you are experiencing depression symptoms. The first one is activation ladder. Breaking big actions into smaller steps and choosing fields that you want to make progress in. For instance, if you want to make progress in your health, you can divide the big goal, for instance, going to gym, into smaller steps, such as putting on working clothes, walking to the door, walking for 5 minutes, walking for 10 minutes, and actually builds more motivation. So in the same manner as you are slowly stepping towards the step of the stairs ladder, you can by time slowly increase the intensity of the behavior, or taking more step towards the goals that you want to achieve. The second one is diffusion from depression voice. For instance, if you are having depression symptoms, try to notice what your mind is telling you, and instead of being fused with the thought or doing what the thought is trying to convince you, try to notice the thought and say that I'm having the thought that this would happen, or that you can also say that's my depression, that's depression is speaking right now. And you can still try to take steps towards what was meaningful for you, what you planned to do. So you can choose 3 core values, for instance, for the day as planning. And you can try to take one small action for each field every day. And you can also remind yourself in the mornings which values have you chosen and how you can incorporate it into your daily life. So how many sessions does ACT take? Often people are asking me. Typically it says it takes from 8 to 16 sessions. And you can I apply ACT by myself? Yes, you can start doing these exercises by yourself, and this will not harm you in any manner. Can ACT be combined with medications? Yes, absolutely, it can be combined with medications. And if which one is better, ACT or CBT? Both are effective, and it can depend on the person which one would be more effective for whom. What if I have depression but no therapy? It's important to seek professional help, use small steps, and don't isolate yourself. So we have discussed so far about depression, that this is real, it's not a character flaw, it's not related with person's personality or character, and that it's treatable, and that ACT works by changing your relationship with experiences, thoughts, feelings, and scientific evidence strongly supports it, and that small value-based actions can create change in long term, and that we don't need to wait for motivation to come or to have the best mood in order to start taking steps. It says it will never get better. That's not true. Maybe your mind says you are worthless. It's not true. Maybe your mind says help won't work, and we learned that we can gently notice these thoughts and still continue to take action even in the presence of negative thoughts. And you are bigger than what you are going through. If this webinar was helpful for you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe and turn on notifications. And in the comments, write which tool helped you the most. You can also share your experiences or challenges you had while trying to use these exercises. And see you in the next videos. You can also leave on which topics you would like to have more sessions or more webinars. Take good care of yourself.